Everybody look up, watch out. It's Keep Up with your boy Sylvan Sane. Welcome to the program, even though the Yankees are going against the Dodgers. Shout out to Aaron Judge and my haircut supporting him. You better do something about this, bitch. We need to win game 3. Hopefully, hopefully most of you guys are watching the game. It's okay. We are live on this channel, but to be fair, we're also live. We're live, and so you can watch our recording. And let's get started. Right now, it's election season, so that's why I've included on the schedule a lot of politics stuff. We were not having politics for a little while, and now it's back. So again, go Yankees, and let's go into politics real quick right now. Podcasts are the thing. Joe Rogan just had Trump. Who's your daddy? Call your daddy. Call me your daddy. I forgot her name, but she has a very popular podcast now. She's independent. She left Barstool Sports, and so she had Kamala Harris. And also, Kamala Harris did a convention with Beyonce recently in Houston while Trump was in Austin doing the Joe Rogan Experience, one of my muses, but he's not really my favorite podcast anymore. Far from, to be honest, because he's gone really far right. Not himself personally, but he kind of like, he's not, I could pretty much tell he's still liberal. And that's fine. You don't have to subscribe to the same politics as me, obviously. But he eggs it on. And I guess I'm not popular enough to know what he's going through because he has such a large contract with Spotify. So I don't understand what it's like to have to book guests and to have to appeal to those subscribers. But in my opinion, he fans the flames. He has some really viral moments, though. Speaking of which, Elon Musk. I don't know what's up with him. Why does he want to be goth, dark MAGA? What is up with that? What does he think that he's got like some My Chemical bad reaction bromance going on with Trump or something like that? I don't understand. Then what about Tony Heathcliff? Hopefully I said his name correctly, because actually he was one of the best people on the roast, which is really sad. He was one of the best people on the roast for Tom Brady on Netflix. Nikki Glazer, a bunch of people killed it. It was one of the best hosting jobs too. Kevin Hart. Usually Jeff Ross does a really good job of it. And I thought Kevin Hart, he's not one of my favorite comedians, but he did an excellent job at that roast. So it's really sad that Tony, he's big on the podcast scene as well. I should have known, because some of the Tom Segura, I should have known that he was on that wave. He was at a Trump rally, and just like, and just like other Nazi conventions that's happened during the 30s, it sold out at Madison Square Garden. And Trump and a lot of his people, they had a convention inside, and it did very well, and it went very viral. And Tony decided to make, now again, he is a roaster, he is a comedian, but I like what another fellow roaster and another fellow comedian, and someone that has dark comedy as well, very offensive, but maybe I'm being subjective, but I think, objective, subjective. Wow, people don't even know how to use these fucking words, including myself. Anthony Jeselnik was on another podcast, and he quoted Andy Warhol, and Andy Warhol said, art, there's a beauty or something like that in getting away with it, and art is getting away with it. And I agree with that. I agree with my homegirl that played Selena in Veep, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She said that if you're like intentionally trying to punch down, which some people thought Chappelle did, you're not really doing comedy right. And same thing with Tony. He called Puerto Rico a island of garbage. And he said, don't come to this country, waving. And he blamed it on he scapegoated his comedy. And even Shane Gillis, who was canceled on Saturday Night Live, he has the philosophy of not punching down. And he's worked with Tony too. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. And Bad Bunny came in response. J-Lo, one of my friends who's in politics, and he's a cop, he said that it took these garbage jokes in order for people to pay attention. And I don't disagree with him, but I do think he's not giving enough credit to my Queens boy, John Leguizamo, the freak. He's been calling out for a while. And so it's been wild. And so I do think that podcasts is a new platform. Barron Trump, Mr. NYU, he is suggesting these podcasts. I don't know who's suggesting these things for Kamala, but I think both of them are doing pretty well. Joe Rogan has a mostly male audience, and Call Her Your Daddy, it also has a female audience. So both of them are very segmented, and they're both Kamala is supposed to win a landslide victory with women, and Trump is supposed to go landslide with the men. Figures, him and Arnold Palmer palming each other's. Anyway, it's supposed to be the hugest gender divide in presidential history. And I'm sure there's going to be records amount of voting too. The old guys got around 80 votes each last time, so I can't even imagine, which is great. I am a fan of conciliatory voting. So is Obama. By the way, the Obamas have been out on the trail for Kamala. I don't know who the hell other than these podcast comedians. I'm trying to think. Hulk Hogan keeps making his shirtless debut with his fake Bud Light. I don't understand him. He used to be my favorite wrestler until I figured out he was racist and severely on steroids. His daughter, I don't even think the daughter talks to him. The reality TV show used to be really cool. But yeah, Trump also on Joe Rogan wouldn't admit that he lost the election. He also talked about The View, and Whoopi Goldberg was not very pleased about it. She brought out the receipts. He said that they loved him, and that in 2015, before he started running, he was on the show, and they kissed him, and they hugged him, and everyone was in love with him. And boy, was he wrong. So I watched Joe Rogan's podcast, not all 3 hours of it. My God. When he started doing that, that's another reason why he lost me. Joe Budden. Again, I love podcasts, but I can't devote my life 3 hours at a time to a podcast anymore. I'm not going to do that to you guys anymore. I used to do that, and it's not fun. You got to have some really good content. And Joe provides it. Not for me, though. Not for me. So when they both were when he was interviewing Trump, he said they brought back and the producer, which I wish I had a producer to call these things out for copyright. They were going to include the copyright. I mean, they were going to include the clip. And to be honest, he has less and less clips now these days, and I think that's because people are suing the shit out of each other. And so he couldn't get the ABC rights for that clip. And I think he did that on purpose because I think they knew that they were fabricating the situation. So Whoopi on The View made a good point that this guy is always watching their show. It's so fucking true. It is so true. This guy, for someone who doesn't watch the show, he knows exactly what they're doing and like what they're wearing each episode. Very creepy, Joe. And I'm not calling him Joe Biden. I'm calling him Joe from You. I don't know. I forgot his last name. It's like Goldberg or something. Great show. Took me a long time to watch, but I'm finally on. The final season's coming on Netflix. Anyway, Whoopi brought out the receipts and she was not happy. Barbara Walters, all-time journalist, so of course she's going to be welcoming. Someone gave him hugs, but Whoopi was not happy. And this was, I think, the first time he brought up the birther comments about Obama's birth certificate. By the way, this orange fraud has not revealed his medical records recently, and he has not, which even when he did, he just did a letter from his physician. And he still hasn't revealed his taxes, saying that the IRS has been auditing him for like 20 straight years. Whoa. But anyway, that was a debacle. This whole Puerto Rico, it's been like a Maria hurricane hovering over his Nazi rally. I really hope that does wake them up because Hispanics really do lean right a lot. And I'm not Hispanic, I'm not Latin, so I can't be the one to show the Selena and Yolanda meme. But again, I'm not that from their community. So, but there are people from that community that show that meme where Yolanda is looking up at Selena, and we know what time that is. We already know. Let's move on. Anything else happen in politics? I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it. If anybody has anything in the comments, please let me know. I'm down. One more thing about politics. If Josh, if you were watching, I don't think you are. I think my show is too liberal for you, and that's okay. That's okay. It is very liberal. I do try. I'm not very good at it though. That's why I love Obama, and that's why I like Kamala too. I think they're more centrist than I am. More so Obama, more moderate. I do think Kamala leans more my way, but I'm not a moderate. And if I did get into politics, I would try, but it's really hard because I do love being liberal and I do love liberal policies. I will be real with that. And so, Josh, I had to let you go. I might not even take it back. I know it sounds like an Arnold Palmer bromance, but it's really not. It's just been too much. I don't get any joy from the friendship anymore. And it's not because he's Republican, it's because he's MAGA. And especially with John Kelly recently calling him a fascist and saying that he's an authoritarian. This is the guy, the chief of staff. I've read John Bolton's book. I never read Woodward's book. I've read Mary Trump's book. They all dogged this motherfucker. And he says it's because they're fired. I don't know. Omarosa came back. I don't know. Lying about The Apprentice. Supposedly NBC dropped him when he made those rapist allegations against the whole country of Mexico. My gosh. Anyway, I lost two people that day. And I let me preface it. I was on a client road trip, and I was deep in Long Island. And Long Island is pretty much like Pennsylvania these days. And there was this house, and it had Trump plastered all over it as if it was a NASCAR. And it also had like a Punch and Judy style, like wind thing. And it was the orange guy himself, blonde hair. It was so creepy. It looked like a ventriloquist doll on top of someone's roof. I posted on my social media. It did pretty well, especially over here, this YouTube segment. You guys went hard with the TDS. I can tell a lot of them are using their father's money for DraftKings. And they decided to take out their part of their day and show me why I am a terrible person for wanting to support Kamala and never support a Nazi. It's great. Again, I'm not trying to like book drop. A lot of people do that, education shame. I even read The Plot Against America, where Lindbergh was going he was going to win the presidency and he was a literal Nazi. Like, it is so crazy that after this election, hopefully if Kamala wins, that I'm not even gonna be happy. Like, I cried when Obama won last time. And I should be able to cry because it's a black woman, a South Asian woman. again, I am one of those people that is not bashful to say that I never want an old white person ever again, an old white dude. You can be an old woman. You can bring back Rose from the dead, from Titanic, and she could be our president. But I never want to see this ever again. It is a bad look on our country. They do not govern this country well anymore. We need to have something new. So not only did I block Josh on all social media and on my phone, he like even gave like a last gasp. He went on my WhatsApp. Thanks, Mark Z. And he goes, dude, did social media kick you off? I would hate to see the social media guru, because that is part of my repertoire. I do live events, I do social media, I do broadcasting. Actually, this summer it was really cool. We didn't even have a little summer recap while I was gone. But during the summer, I was doing a lot of cannabis videos, and I was doing a lot of broadcasting for basketball tournaments, and it was really fun. It was really fun. I had a blast. And I hope to keep doing it. I'm doing some outreach work to continue that work. But anyway, he made the last gasp on WhatsApp, and he was like, oh, you're my friend. I hope I didn't upset you. And he did. The last thing he said was, you guys have been calling Trump a fascist for years. True that. And so has JD Vance. Like, I don't understand how many people. So that's what I'm saying. I was against one of his walls. It was like the Great Wall of China talking to this guy. I was throwing a can over and I couldn't hear him. And I didn't want to hear him anymore. It was just too much. And so he said, and you guys don't even know the proper definition of racism. And again, I'm not the blackest motherfucker on earth, but it is so weird to watch, to look at some Aryan looking, and I know he's Jewish, but he looks so Anglo-Saxon. He looks like Mayflowers come out his asshole. Like he is so white supremacist. And he says it too. He says he loves colonialism. He says he loves Zionism. He thinks other lands are savage. He got really offended when I called Europeans Martians. He is out of control and out of my life. And someone got rid of me in their life on social media. I had this coworker that I used to mess around with. She, I think her man at the time, and now they're married and have a kid. I think he started following me on social media. I mean, we smoked a blunt here. It's a blunt here or there, but I don't think that's why he followed me on social media. I think it's because he was Joe Goldberging me. I think he was stalking me. I think he was trying to keep tabs on me so that I didn't try to tap that ass again. It happens. So, we're almost at the finish line. If you need to go back in time and go get some of these friends that you lost during the election, go do that. But there's some that deserve to be left, and just leave them in the past. Don't throw that seashell. Yeah, throw that seashell back in the ocean and never let it come back. Don't ever listen to it. Let's get on to some sports real quick. I only have two topics for that one. Bronny James experiment. There is this commentator. He used to be on ESPN. Jason Whitlock. Yep. He has his own show on Fox Sports now. And so if you're not keen on the sports networks, Fox Sports it embodies its predecessor, its umbrella corporation, News Corp. And so it's sports, but it's still very conservative, and it still has that vibe, that creepy, toxic male vibe. And so there's two takes on this. I do agree with him, but I don't think his vitriol helps. And I do think it sounds pretty crappy, to be honest. So LeBron James, he has a son, LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, with Savannah. Savannah is so hot. And he also has another one on the circuit, the AAU circuit. And that is a big middle school tournament, but like travel league. And it basically puts you on track to get to the NBA. So Bryce is their other son. He's the youngest. And they were big on the high school circuit. And so now Bronny James has been drafted to the Lakers. Now, to be honest, it was a little contrived. Rob Pelinka is the GM, and so he pulled some strings to make that happen. And his talent level is between G League and deep bench. But I get the other side. I understand it. It is history. Yo, you can get Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr., who are the other father-son duo from Major League Baseball. That's the last time this happened. You've had brothers like the Kelseys, Jason and Taylor Kelsey. No, let me not disrespect my man Travis. Travis is actually a pretty good actor too. But it's historic. That's my point. And for Black athletes, sorry for my white audience that feels that they're superior. It's big in that realm too, man. It's big in that realm too. There's so much nepotism nowadays. I just was talking about the Trump family, Mr. Kushner, Melania, you dumb psycho brothers. But like, yo, why can't we have some nepotism, a good nepotism story? Why do not like so he's not that good, but we'll see. But it is fun. It is fun. The jersey sales are out of control. I think they started off pretty hot. But again, if you can develop this player and you get to see father and son on the court with to be honest, top 3 basketball player ever. It's fun. It's fun. Why not? Jason Whitlock. Get a grip. On some not so serious things, shout out to some of my friends that had their weddings. I had a friend have a recent wedding, and I stayed at his house in Chicago like a year ago. I'm a bad house guest. I need to step up my game. Right now, I don't have much hosting abilities in my life, and so I can't really return the favor. I have let him stay with me before, but his apartment was real nice. And his boyfriend at the time did not like me. He had a huge toot. So they got married and did not invite me. I have a thought on that. Weddings are expensive. I had a friend who's not my friend anymore. And he got invited to like 5 weddings a year. And not only did they invite him to like 5 weddings a year, they would try to get him to be the best man, even though like he barely knew the motherfucker. That would happen to me. They would always invite him to the wedding party. So sometimes these weddings would be like $7 to $8 grand each with the excursion costs of being him. And of course, he's from like Long Beach, Long Island, and he went to school in the North Coast in California. So he's got in the Bay Area. So he's definitely got rich friends. And so my black gay friend from my fraternity, he did not invite me to the wedding, which is okay. Again, I am not rich yet, so I can't go to everybody's wedding. I am going to send this guy wine again. I tried to send him wine to thank him for staying at his house. Very awesome house in Chicago. Very nice apartment. Beautiful. And for some reason, wine.com was not working. And you have to like sign for it because it's alcohol. Never got it. I should have just sent him a gift card. What the fuck was I thinking? But shout out to him. He loves the snow bunnies. He loves the twinks. Just like, sorry that I'm sticking with sports. Tyler Halliburton, they call him the Winter Soldier because he's always with a bunch of blonde white ladies in the bathroom, or like they're always accompanying him somewhere when he had that Olympic video with LeBron. So crazy. But I got a joke for my white people. Sorry, white people, you guys are, I'm like Tony Heathcliff right now for the Puerto Ricans for you guys. Sorry about that. And that's what Tony said too, by the way. He said, you never have to apologize if you do it right. If you're at the comedy special and everybody came out angry, you didn't do a good job. If you got some people angry and they found a way to laugh, you did a great job. Anyway, the greatest way to know if someone's white is if they're willing to say Candyman 5 times in the mirror. I'm a total believer in that. So if you're in a bind, if you need a quick fix, if your stereotypes are not lining up well, go watch them do that. Oh, and one more thing on the wedding thing. Please, if you're married and you call them your forever plus one, please go jump off a fucking bridge, bitch. Like, I really hate when people say that. Like, this is your mandatory first. I mean, your mandatory plus one. Nobody cares if they're your forever. And most of you are not forever. Most of you are getting caught fucking prostitutes and it's showing up on your Venmo on your phone and your wife finding out. Like most of you are doing that and calling each other your forever plus one. We need to stop this. Stop it now. Whatever happened to these photo shoots? And then you wipe the Instagram grid clean and we know that you broke up. Now people are hiding all types of shit and they're just putting on the AI smile. Anyway, a little bit more sports. I am so tired. First of all, the WNBA, they are going to get paid. It's going to happen. They're actually, in my opinion, they are in a better spot in year 26, 28 than they were, than the NBA was at that juncture. And so with each CBA, there's about to be a lockout just like the NBA did because there was a buku amount of money. And 200 million, which is not a lot in NBA terms, but again, across inflation, they are going to get paid. Angel Reis, Caitlin Clark. And so she just admitted recently on an interview, and Angel Reis, she is on the Chicago Sky. Shout out to my homegirl. She's used to be an executive there. She's a Posse alum. She's really cool. And Angel Reis said on the podcast that, or interview, that her salary, 78 grand a year, does not cover her 8 grand a year rent. So this was on Sports Bro Bible or Sports Bible where I read this. And of course, everybody thought they were fucking Charles Schwab in the comment thread. Everybody thought they were her financial advisor. My God. And they didn't read the article. And she said that she gets loads of endorsement money, which Shaq is a regular guest on her podcast, I believe. And if anybody knows, this guy has never, supposedly, he has never spent a game check in his life, an NBA game check in his life. He has so many endorsements, so many vertical incomes. So, of course, and she's LSU alum. Yo, leave her alone. She's also going to be in a league in Miami. I think it's a 3-on-3 league. She's doing her thing. And in the age of social media, these companies reach out in the DMs. I used to do that when I was in cannabis, when I was a community manager. These opportunities are huge, the NIL in college. So when people try to give financial advice to a WNBA woman that is making the bread like crazy, she needs to give some to these pigeons in the Bro Bible. Chill out. Leave her alone. This is sport adjacent. I follow this guy Perlman on TikTok, and he made a good point about John Rocker, and he used to have a beef with him. He was a pitcher for the Braves a long time ago. Speaking of races, he probably votes for Trump, to be honest. If somebody looks that up, I guarantee you he's got a MAGA hat on somewhere. So long story short, his father died. They have a beef. He reaches out, and he says, condolences. And this is something I would do. That's why it really resonated with me. His wife is a social worker, and his wife, the social worker, said, why would you do that? Like, if he hates you, you're the last person he wants to hear from right now. Don't be egotistical. And it is so true. Oh my God. People think so highly of themselves, including myself. And I'm sure it was jarring for the man, Perlman. I forgot his name. No, it's not Jeff Perlman. But anyway, I follow him on TikTok. He's pretty cool as a sports writer. He used to be for Sports Illustrated. You do the math. Yeah, it's so true, man. We got the audacity. To think that everybody wants to hear from us and that everybody needs to hear a condolence or that you have to, like, it's customary. And no, it's not. No, it's not. Leave people alone. Let them grieve, especially if you don't know them, and especially if you don't have a good relationship with them. So that's something I had to learn through TikTok. Thanks, China. Thanks, Singapore. And, shout out to my hyper. Right now we're losing. That really sucks, but I still think we're going to come back. Savages in the box. these hypercritical fans, I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm sure I've done it before, but get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. People, sports franchises or sports towns that think that they can manage better with a manager, it is so wild. And I'm going to make this personal. I don't know if you're watching, but my boy that I talk with sports a lot, he said that Aaron Judge, captain of the Yankees, did not earn his stripes, his Yankee stripes. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this guy, this player has his 2 MVPs. He has so many awards. If I was Aaron Judge, I would vacate all my shit and I would be like, don't even put my baseball cap on in the Hall of Fame. I don't even want the Yankees to be on there because we don't deserve him. We don't. I know he's really struggling. He did well in the beginning of his playoff career, and like the last 6 playoffs, he's been dirt poor, and he's due. That's basically it. He's due. Oh my God, this has become like a huge sports thing, man. So many things in sports. Yo, Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat, he's retired. My point is, if anybody's seen, he got a statue in his name to recognize his great career. Do not, if I become famous, guys, don't make a statue of me. I think Michael Jordan's like the only one I know that looks good. The Kobe one looks terrible. The Allen Iverson one looks terrible. It just does not have a great winning percentage. It's like a bridge. Like, you don't want a bridge to fail 60% of the time. So I'm going to ask people to never make a statue of me in any way. A figurine, figurines happen. I have a figurine of my deceased dog. Rest in peace, Saturday. And it's small enough for the margin of error. But like, if you got something in bronze and it's the middle of a town, a city square, there's not much room for error. So leave my likeness off of a fucking statue, please. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. What's up? You know, I was thinking, I was at I remember when I worked at Brute and I had this coworker and there was so many Gen Z people. And I didn't know that there was that much difference between millennials and Gen Z until I worked in this place. They were really focused on user-generated content. And of course, Gen Z is like the king of that and queen. And I remember our boss was yelling at us from France. And she was so, not shaken. I was about to say shaken. She was stirred. And she was more perturbed. And I asked her why. And she goes, there is no way a person should be yelling at someone to get what they want. And I was like, and I was from, you know, I had a lot of aggressive coaches. I had a lot of aggressive teachers. So I was from a different wavelength with that, even though I didn't practice it myself rarely at the time. So I think you guys might have heard this before. My mother and sister agreed with her, and I totally veered in a different direction thanks to that. But I thought about it again. And again, I don't want her to get yelled at. I hope she doesn't. I hope she doesn't. And even though I don't like her, I really don't. I think people that avoid getting yelled at, and I wrote it down. Some people are more into being treated better than being better. And that's happened to me at other jobs. Sometimes I'm more into the social justice or just justice in general when I'm at a job. Like I hope this person gets, like as if I'm a union rep. I worked with someone that was actually trying to set up a union while I was at a PR firm. And I was like, dude, you really like this job that much? I don't like this job that much to start a union. I don't care about people that much at this job. And honestly, nobody should. Unless it's their company. Unless it's the company. Unless you're cutting the checks. So get off your motherfucking high horse, as Ernesto would say to that tomfool. Yo, my friend said tomfool in a sentence, and I had to look it up. And I was like, the last time someone used it was in the 17th century. And this guy goes, look it up. I does this. And I did that. And he was wrong. It's a noun and nobody uses it other than tomfoolery, which I thought that's what I was like. I called him out for it. I was like, yo, are you using tomfoolery? He's like, no, I said tomfool. I know what I said. I pity the fool on the tomfoolery. Anyway, let's get on to some music. What the fuck did I hear? And on one of the episodes with my man Robert Mercado World, even Keith Toast, my man Keith, we talked about Governor's Ball, and it had a great lineup. It had Sabrina Carpenter, it had Chappel Roan, it had Renee Rapp, and no Charlie XCX, no Taylor Swift. These are really big. Olivia Rodrigo, none of those. But I mentioned these very light-skinned women, Beyonce too. These women had the best year in music. And so shout out to Chappel Roan, Kaylee Rose. I don't know why. I find her attractive. And she don't like me. She loves women now. Even if you listen to the lyrics of her songs, you could tell that men did her really dirty. My friend sent me something on Instagram, and it was a meme saying that women, when they friend zone you, there's no sex. But men, they can friend zone you, and there'll still be sex involved. There'll still be some fucking. Yo, she said this is something you would say. Where's the dart? Bull motherfucking eye. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. It is so true, and I've done it. I've done it, and I lost a friend that way. This person, I had a crush on her a long time ago, and she decided to reciprocate the feelings like 10 years later. And so, of course, I'm a dude. I wanted to test out the ride that I never tested out. I did. I shoplifted the pootie, and I got in big trouble. And it's true. It's true. Men can be your friend and fuck you, and it'll be fine. Most of the time, they won't get feelings. If you keep fucking them, they probably will. But women, and I get why, there's all types of dynamics. I don't have another person to discourse this with. I'm not going to argue with myself. But most of the women that I know, that is off the table if they're friends with you. Most of the time, they keep that separate. There are some women that don't. Some women will fuck you fine and dandy and keep it going, keep the party going. But that was crazy. But anyway, back to Chappel Roan. She is bipolar, and I'm not trying to reveal that as naked. I like bipolar people. Ye is my dog. Shout out to Ye. That album's coming out soon. I heard Bully. He's crazy, and we're getting to see crazy people. That's what my point is. And so Chappel Roan was at I believe one of her music mates' red carpet event. And she noticed a person from the VMAs, a photographer that was very rude to her, yelled at her, and her nipple tassels came over to him and confronted him. And so people are coming at her all sideways on TikTok and shit like that because she is very confrontational. And I'm on her side. Not only do I have a crush on her and I love her music, but and I do think she's going to get album of the year. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be a lot. Like I said, Beyonce with the country album and Taylor and all these people. Billie Eilish, my God, she had a great year. I thought it was a shoo-in, but there's been so many great albums this year. Like I said, Brat, great album. I was listening to that on the road this morning. So amazing. But she, kudos to her. Kudos to her, man. Slap these fucking paparazzi, man. And I had a paparazzi on my show, and I think he agrees a little bit. I might be speaking for him. But they're not nice. They killed Princess Diana. They're not nice. So, and again, I mentioned she's bipolar. She says that when she was younger, she got diagnosed early and she takes meds. And I like that. I like that she's a little feisty, man. I like that let's check out this gold chain, man. I don't even have a big gold chain, but Judge me wearing the gold chain, and I gotta represent. We down 3-zip. We're gonna come back. Anyway, Chappel Roan, you're my homegirl. Keep acclimating yourself to fame. Get that mental health going. Josh was bad for my mental health. If you have a Josh in your life, you get rid of him. I'm pretty sure your self-esteem and your confidence will ascend. We're not doing album reviews anymore, but Tyler, the Creator, Chromokopia, great album. He goes off and on. Igor was very good. The one after that, I forgot what it was called, but before that he had the Flower Boy, and he usually has really good albums. Goblin. There's only like two that I don't really love, or one, and that was probably the one before this. But he came back strong with this one. He has great features, mixes in the R&B again, great rap. Supposedly, there's this white Mike rapper or something like that that's upset with his lyrics, called him a racist for calling out white rappers. Even though he gets homage in the song to Mac Miller and Eminem, who knows? So, people get butthurt all the time. Mocktails are fucking gross. I don't get it. I don't even like alcohol that much. Why? Not only do I not love alcohol, I don't want the components that make that drink appealing to begin with. The fact that you need to put all this sugar in that shit in order for it to taste good should tell you something. Whenever I drink, it's to get drunk. It is not to taste well. It is not. Like most of the time when I like, if someone like, yo, when I know, and I'm like, I got that bitter beer face, like for everything, like for the vodka, for all, oh man. And there's been time, man, I know you guys feel me. I know that there's been times you've been at parties and you have sworn off to drink for like months because of like what happened that night. Ooh. So shout out to the people. I don't get it. And I don't like people that have sober as a personality. Like sober is not a personality. That should not be your life. That is so fucking boring. Oh, sobriety, 1,000 days sober, all that. What? Dude, keep that to yourself. That is like, that's like marathon runners. Keep your running to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Mocktails, blah. You are trying to get diabetes instead of being at a clinic at Alcoholics Anonymous. Sorry, guys. Mocktails are gross, and sober life is. Shout out to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not gonna go into it. It's an older story. Mary J. Blige is my homegirl. She just came out with new music. Not really digging it, so be impressed with her Hall of Fame career instead. And I think I have one more. But I have to look it up. Real quick before we go. Yeah, so last week I brought up best horror movies of 2024. And I saw some of them. I saw some of them, the ones that I read off. There we go. So let's put out another window so I don't. And some of them I saw, and some of them I just saw. And so I'm not going to repeat the ones that I saw last week that I already had watched. I had already viewed. But the ones that I didn't, so Oddity, which is Irish, that is about a woman that has a trinket store, an antique store, and she's blind and crazy shit happens. It is really cool. Very good movie. I just saw Arcadian with Nicolas Cage. I just saw Woman of the Hour. Oh, I described Woman of the Hour last week. That was good. Very good. I saw A Violent Nature. Whoa! If you are into Terrifier type gruesomeness and gore, go see this movie. Holy shit. It happens in the woods. It's like Terrifier in the woods without a clown. Whoa. It's like a Jason, Michael Myers type slasher. Wow. Very good. But anyway, here are the top horror shows in 2024. We're going to read the new ones because they have old ones like From and What We Do in the Shadows. So let's read some new ones. We got Hellbound. We got Grotesquerie, which is the same makers as American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy's on fire over there. Hellbound. Uzumaki. I'm gonna have to get back to you guys on that one because Uzumaki is on HBO and I heard that is really good. It's a manga anime type horror. It looks really good. Looks very good. They got a spinoff with Daryl Dixon. No thanks. And Walking Dead. Lots of. Oh, I was really late. This is from last year. I was really late on the Fall of Usher, which is a. It uses Edgar Allan Poe and the Fall of the House of Usher as the source material, and they use it in modern day. Very good. The same cast of Bly Manor, all that good stuff. Very good. I enjoyed that one. That was very good. Haunting on Hill House, same makers. I gotta get into Chucky. That's an old one too. I heard everybody really likes that one. Stranger Things is coming back next year. I don't know why they brought that up. And that's it. That's it. Again, we're back with this show. I don't have anybody to help. So if you want to support the show, please hit us up on Cash App. One day I'm going to put these old episodes on Patreon, but I'm not going to bore you with that. For now, I'm just going to give you quality episodes, and we're just going to give you consistency. I want to give you as many episodes in a row as possible. Halloween is here. Go have a great Halloween. I dressed up as Aaron Judge from Paw Patrol. That might have jinxed the team again. Who knows? But I brought my wonderful dog Wednesday and my homegirl Giovanna. Shout out to her. She brought her dog Ella. She's going to have her birthday soon in November. They both have a November birthday. So that's really cool. So yeah, go enjoy. Yo, by the way, stop getting, and I'm talking to myself right now, stop getting Halloween candy in the beginning of October, because you end up eating it all. You don't have, there's no more. It's like the Melendez brothers with the big ass Snicker bar. Like there's no more candy left. Joe badass. No, go get a better costume. Yo, that Melendez show is really good. On Netflix. But anyway, right, that should be a horror show, but it wasn't on the list. It wasn't on the list. But again, thank you for watching and listening. I really appreciate you guys. I know that you're watching the games. That's great. All good. This is, you don't have to watch it live. Watching it live is cool. So we've been on the air for a while. It's basically a kind of in a stand-up style, and we do viral news, and we make fun of over cliches and pop culture. And so I'm just happy to be here. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm happy to bring my talent to the world. If you'd like to check out my expertise, if you want to hire me for things, for any public speaking, I am available. I'm going to start looking for podcast guest bookings again. And let's do it. Let's do it. Last week, I didn't do my intro or my outro. I'm going to do that now. Oh, man, you better listen up. Oh, you better shut the fuck up. Listen up. And keep up with your boy Stilvin Sane. I am so happy to see you guys. And I'm so happy to see you fucking leave. Happy Halloween. Over and out, homies.